Hey, my name is Ria Waller, and I'm the instructor for CIT 85. And it may feel like I'm not because the course material is from Todd McLeod. And what the role that I play for this course is I'll be grading the work. Actually, I'm doing the work along with you. And where I see things that might need to be updated, I'll do that as well. And so this is actually the beginning of week 2. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a weekly attendance. Now, this attendance doesn't count toward your grade. It's just a way for me to be able to report to the campus and really for me to kind of stay in touch with things happening in the campus or in the Canvas course or in our course. So here in week 2, we've now gotten through the first week, and I've had a couple students reach out to me about the whole GitHub situation. And that's, GitHub is generally the thing that takes a little bit to get over. To get started, and Todd has a little different approach than I do to GitHub as far as the way you set up your repos. But in general, here's what Todd showed you: set up the repo out on GitHub, which I do as well. Do that step first. And then what he has you do is use the GitHub desktop on your local system in order to authenticate into GitHub. And then he has you set up a folder that you initialize. That's the Git init to actually then set up a repo. And then he has you connect them by doing that Git remote and set up. Me, what I do is I still have you set it up out there, and then I just show you how to git clone. And when you git clone and then the URL, which I've actually given videos, my videos that I go through for the 82 course, which I guess I expected most of you having been through 82 had this, but that's okay too. Sorry, because you did it at the beginning of the semester and it's been a little while. So I provided some videos that I gave the CIT82 course. But at the point I provided the playlist, it actually assumes you already have the repo on GitHub set up. Okay. Reach out to me though. My office hours are listed in Simple Syllabus. I've already talked to a couple of you. Like, come see me or reach out if you need help. Now, having said that, I've also in this week 2, so let me just show you. So this week, as you come into week 2, or if you're working over the weekend, you'll see a week 2 and then video from Rio. I've also provided this Discord link, and Discord, and I hope most of you have heard of it. If you haven't, it's a great way to have interaction with each other. And I've created for this class a channel that is for just the students in this class. There are channels that are from my other class, and there are channels that are just for anyone on the server because there are students that have taken my course before. I do believe there's also tutors for this class. I know Dustin, pretty sure Dustin and Zach are both tutoring 85 or on this. I'll confirm with that. Actually, I'll confirm that and post it. But here's what you want to do is know that this has got a code of conduct. And if you come into the code of conduct, if you come onto the server, what you want to do is go up here and look at the code of conduct. So I clicked on code of conduct and then on the top, and I've adopted the Python code of conduct because it's got a great community. So make sure you understand this is a code of conduct for our class. And then when you get here, if you can remember, go to start here and ask me to add you into the course chat, because that is only for students and I have to manually add you. When you come onto the server, you'll see the start here, but not the other ones. Okay, so that's a resource. The reason that's helpful is there's going to be times when you and I have different schedules. Like, you might be somebody that works late at night and I'm not, right? So having an ability to ask questions to fellow students is helpful. So that's a way you can do it and get support. I've already seen this actually happening with a couple of students that I knew were on the server that were taking this class. We already have a couple in there. Okay, so that's the first thing about the course. The other thing is, as you're moving through the course, right? So as you're moving through the Udemy course, I know sometimes it can be a little like, as you watch through here, you have to pay attention to the assignments as far as what you need to do. And what will happen is, like, on these first couple of ones, Todd shows you in the course how to create the HTML page, right? And in this case, he also talks about something really important that I'm going to just make sure from here on out you know, because I put it in week one, is that you want to use these standard files that are recommended. Okay. And these file naming conventions are really important, and folder naming conventions. So make sure you check those out as well. I do mark off for that. So just make sure you get those. And again, I listed my feedback on for this on all the week one and week two items. Now, having said that, also one of the things, and I'll just show you how I've done this, is what I do is on my local system, right? Because I'm coding locally, is I create the week, and then I do like create HTML week CSS selectors, 1, 2, 3, and 4, specificity. So I go through, and that's how I set up my folder structure for me. Now, what I do with your code is I actually pull your code into my system and I run it on my local system. And I look at the output and I look at the way you've written the code, and then I will give you feedback. Because this course is open-ended as far as the due dates, you have until the end of the semester. If I give you feedback, you can resubmit that work and get those points back. So please, check in on that. But understand also that every week is 2 weeks. So at this point, if you haven't checked in and replied to the week one hello, right, your week one is considered absent, although you can still do the work. So I just want you to be clear on that. So in week two, it's a little different items. There's actually a little more work on some of the items themselves, but there's one, two, five items. So 3 and 4. So week 3 and 4 are week two. Okay. So just know, and Todd put this up, and I'm probably going to modify this a little bit. So I'll put week 2 because the class has already started. And that's what he was saying here, is that it goes every 2 weeks of the calendar, right? Of the assignments is 2 weeks of assignments because it's a 9-week course, but it was set up as an 18-week course. Okay, if you want to find my contact information, it's up in Simple Syllabus. If you want to look at my office hours, but you can see that, reach out. Canvas is the best way. And I know it can kind of feel like I'm running this Discord server. Rio, can't I reach out to you there? And I'm mandated by the campus for all direct communications to be through Canvas. So make sure when you're wanting to talk to me directly, do it here in Canvas. It's really the best way to get in touch with me. Okay. Okay, so that's the setup. Here we are in week 2, making sure that you're working through the course, stopping and looking at the assignments that are due, because sometimes if you keep watching some of the Udemy course, you might bypass where he talks about, because the hands-on work that he talks about here and shows the solutions for is a little different than the assignments in here. Okay. But the nice thing is he gives you enough to be able to do those assignments. He covers what you need to do. So it does mean you need to watch carefully, and then you also can go look at the code that he outputs. So I know, though, when I just did it myself, and I knew it got a little bit confusing, but after a couple of assignments, I kind of got into the groove of understanding where he was going with it. Okay, so that's from me. I hope that this clears up any confusion you might have about the course. If it doesn't, please reach out. Consider joining Discord because of the reasons I mentioned before. Understand that this class does have an attendance post every week. It doesn't count towards your grade. It's for my purposes of reporting to the campus. That you do need to watch through the Udemy course to understand what those concepts like CSS selectors, right? On the first one, he has you do a specific thing, and you need to go in and make sure you're understanding how to do that specific task related to selectors. When he gets to, even for that, creating your first index.html. So making sure you're using the right folder names. And before that, making sure you have your repo set up. So if you at this point don't have a repo set up, you definitely want to do that. Reach out for help if you need it. I'm more than happy. Like I said, I do it a little differently than he does, but it is okay. It's good to learn multiple ways to do things. All right, have a great week and welcome to week 2 in CIT 85.